There are more podcasts on YouTube than the night sky. Best said, Moist Critical. A warrant has been issued for your arrest. It's like, dang, she sees me putting it up. Oh man, she goes off. She flips out. She starts screaming. 25, 30-minute drive in less than 5 minutes. I remember we were on a highway. It was over 100 miles an hour. Welcome. This is I'm just one person. This is a podcast. I don't even know what intro I'd use. I got a couple ideas. My name's Shane. This is episode 1. I am the co-host of the Mag Dump podcast. Maybe it's popular by now, but I don't know. I don't know when you're listening. I don't know. I just feel like podcasts on YouTube, they're so easy. Like, so easy to do on YouTube. Like, you just record yourself chatting, talking. You don't really have, like, bare minimum editing to do, and you just post it, and you can make easy clips out of it. I mean, there's, like, AI websites that make clips for you, and then you just, run the views up. As of right now, episode 1, I have 4 subscribers, no videos, and we'll see how this goes. The reason I was 4 subscribers, this this YouTube channel used to actually be until when 6,000, because I was watching a Mr. Beast podcast, or a podcast he was in, and he was always talking about how, like, it's so easy to go. It's so easy to be popular on YouTube because literally all you have to do is like blah 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 and all this other stuff. And he was just explaining how literally if you know YouTube, you could be somebody on YouTube. And he gave an example. He said, literally just go buy lottery tickets, scratch them off, make a video out of it, and post it on like TikTok and make like shorts about it and all this other stuff. And eventually in a couple of months, once you get revenue going, it'll pay for itself. It'll literally pay for itself, and you get eventually you get profit off of it, which I think is pretty dope. Pretty dope. So yeah, that used to be this channel. I did it. I bought like probably like $20 worth of lottery tickets. I recorded it all and all this other stuff, and then I like posted a couple videos. My plan was to like do it all in like one weekend and just schedule like 3 weeks worth of videos, but I only got past 3 because I ended up just like I ended up just making the videos like the day of. I wanted to post them instead of just making them all in one little tiny little sesh. So I kind of died itself. I feel like podcasts are just gonna be way easier, but it sucks because I kind of find not to like just totally just change the subject, but I kind of find like my voice kind of annoying. I always hate listening to myself on videos, and I feel like this would really help that. And I feel like with this too, it will also make me a better podcaster for, say, the Mad Dump podcast. Go look it up. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anything. My co-host Keegan, we have a little Mag Dump podcast. I don't think we ever talked about how we got the name, though. The name Mag Dump, kind of like, I think we were joking about how, like, to take me down in, like, a fight, you're going to need, like, the Mag Dump me to keep me down. I kind of just went with the name. But hopefully it pops off because it's kind of like, I don't know, saturated with actual Mag Dump videos. If you search Mag Dump without podcasts, just Mag Dump, you'll just see a lot of actual Mag Dump videos. So it's just Mag Dump podcast or MDP. The MDP. That's what I've been doing. And yeah. If I keep looking over here, it's because I have a tortoise. She's about 1.5 years old. Her name's I call her Toad. Her birth name is Master Oogway. Mrs. Master Oogway, I guess. I keep saying That's that's another reason why I created this podcast, so I could be a better podcaster. And I literally already said that. I repeat myself. I'm sorry, guys. Mag Dump podcast. I don't know why I'm promoting Mag Dump podcast. I guess it's because it's what's the most popular. What YouTube channel I have that's most popular. I guess go check it out. We also got Patreon too with bonus episodes. on it. That's pretty dope. I won't do bonus episodes on this. I feel like I'll just post this and just have it all on YouTube. Eventually, I'll have guests too. I'll just bring in guests whenever. If this blows up, we'll have big guests. I'll try to get a cool guest in, but we'll see. We'll see. I keep saying there I go again. It's it's like drilled into me. I can't not say it. Okay, I was thinking about saying it just there, and just then. It's like I gotta make noise so it's not like silence during the podcast. So it's like you don't have silence. I didn't really bring any talking points. I kind of just like, I'm kind of just like winging it. Maybe like Reddit or something. I can pull something up. And I find, podcasts I find super interesting. My favorite podcast right now is Tiny Meat Gain. I love them. They're hilarious. They're actually what inspired me to do podcasts, mainly. Big inspiration to them. If you're listening, I'll blur it out, but I'll blur that out. I mean, that was kind of instinctive. But yeah, we love you. And then, what the flip? I'll probably have to do that cut. I just paused for like a huge second there. I don't know why I did that. Let's see. I lost my train of thought. And then some other podcasts that I find super duper interesting would be, I think my thing's popping. I need to hold it out a little more. Some other podcasts that I like are going to be like TMG, and then just like any other podcasts. I listen to like Full Send podcast. I think they had a podcast. I only listened to the episode of Mr. Beast. I went on like a whole month binge of just watching every content that had Mr. Beast in it besides his channel, just kind of get like an insight of just like his head and like YouTube. And yeah, I think also they had I think he was on Impulsive. I didn't watch that one. There's another one that's like Unfiltered Mr. Beast or something. I watched that one as well. Murder podcast, I feel like a really popular conspiracy podcast is really popular. It's what kind of like the Magdump podcast is kind of like, I think we've been trying to do more conspiracy thing. Keegan really wants to turn it into a full conspiracy thing. We'll try to, so that's where that's headed probably. And then Murder Mystery, that also. Anyways, this whole tangent was me trying to just introduce the Reddit segue. This is my first time on it. I just made the account. I don't know anything about Reddit. What was it? Am I the a-hole content? I always find that interesting. Like they just go through a whole spiel, because like those are like all over my For You page on TikTok. I'll be scrolling through TikTok and it'll just be like an AI reading "Am I the a-hole" segment, and underneath is like Minecraft parkour or Subway Surfers or something else like that. It's just so I can't take my eyes off it. They do a really good job. What if I just take a random one and just read it? Just take a random one and read it, and for the hope for the best. I might be effed up. Me, 32 male, and my best friend Alex, 32 male, have been friends since diapers. We are basically a family. After college, we both moved back home so we could live at home and get our feet underneath us. Alex started dating 35 female, a lovely girl around 4.5 years ago, and from the get to and for the get-go, she seemed so polite. She seemed to politely dislike me. I don't know why. Oh well. Dude, I can't read. Holy crap, I just realized I couldn't read. From the get-go, she seemed to politely dislike me. I don't know why. Alex and her moved across the country in 2021. After she earned a promotion at work, and in 2022, Alex proposed, and she said yes. and they set a wedding day and for the end of September in 2023. This is like a whole book. I got the save the date card at the beginning of the year, and based on the conversation I had with Alex, I assumed I would be in the wedding party, either as a groomsman or the best man, but never received the official confirmation from either of them. A couple of months before the wedding, I saw the wedding invitation and had to go out on social media. I figured mine was on the route. It never came. I waited a couple of weeks and figured it might have just gotten lost in the mail. Before I checked in with him, I called Alex and had a brief conversation with him where he was clearly okay. And he was dealing with a lot. We would incommunicado for the near future to direct any wedding related questions to her. And he'd called me, and when things cooled off, I'd text. And when the things cooled off, I called, text, and emailed her several times over the course of the week, but she did not respond to any of them. At this point, I figured I wouldn't be attending the wedding, and that things were really effed up for some reason between the two of us. I'm probably never going to read something on this podcast ever again. I feel like I'm literally having a stroke trying to read basic. Just a basic thing. But we're gonna power through. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Things blah 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 blah. Yesterday, a little over 3 weeks ago, after our conversation, Alexis DM'd asking if I was free to chat. I jumped at the opportunity to get some answers, and after exchanging some pleasure teas, Alex jumped right into it, saying that he knew I was super busy with work and dealing with a lot of personal stuff, but he loved if I could attend his wedding, even just as a guest, and wanted to know if there were anything he could do to help me to make that happen. I blurted out that I loved it, but I haven't received an invitation. Alex stared blankly at me and said, "What?" And I just kindly, verbally vibrated, threw up. The word is threw up. The other way to say it is threw up. Threw out. Threw up. And I haven't received an invitation. And it was the reason why I called him a few weeks ago that I haven't contacted him about it, blah, blah. Dude, I'm done. I'm not reading this. We're going to cut this whole thing out. Okay. So I'm just going to skip to the end and just tell you what happened. My phone blowing the F up since the wedding, asking me what the WTF happened and why the wedding might be blown off now. My girlfriend has... Okay, I have no idea what's happening. We're probably just going to cut this whole thing out. Cut that whole thing out. I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best reader. Not the most confident. Not the most confident at all. Who would be my niche audience? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, with audience-wise, a niche audience on YouTube. I've always had this mindset. Like, for a niche YouTube channel, like a niche topic, there's always a niche audience for it. And I'm just wondering, what would my niche audience be? Probably just somebody who enjoys. My goal on YouTube is to hopefully get people coming for my personality and just doesn't care what content I post. Obviously, the chances of that, it's kind of slim. But hopefully I get to that point. And hopefully I wonder how many, like, if podcasts can be monetized. Because I feel like a lot of podcast out there have trouble getting monetized because it's just them talking and, you know, you're not really family friendly on, I mean, podcasts in general. So lately I've been feeling like a kind of like a bad guy, like a bad guy, like an outlaw, like a top 10 FBI most wanted, like a it's been lately. I've been feeling like a bad boy, an outlaw, top 10 FBI most wanted, because I had this. So back, 3 months in June or whatever this, I don't know. Back in June 2023, I got a parking ticket right outside of my house for parking on the curb, but I parked left tire to the curb, so facing oncoming traffic. I didn't really see an issue with it because I was in the neighborhood, but I should have been following the law. So I got the ticket. It's like a $25 ticket, and I went online to go pay for it, and they're like, so it's not here yet, or it hasn't been updated. Come back in a few days. I was like, okay, I'll come back in a few days so I can knock it out and pay for it. A few days, and then I set it down, and boom, I forget about it. It never existed. Never, ever existed to me. That thing never existed. Anyways, fast forward, present date, literally like 2 days ago, I get a message I get a letter in the mail. I open it, and it says, your driver's license has been suspended as of today. Pay like $120 to reinstate it. I was like, dang, what? For what? And it finally hit me. And then I remember the parking ticket. I was like, dang, that's crazy. Holy crap. And then fast forward, I get another letter in the mail. I open it. It's from like the court downtown, and it says, you have an outstanding fine. A warrant has been issued for your arrest. I was like, dang, they're coming to get me. All I hear is these sirens coming next. There's people jumping out of vans with a SWAT team. Tase me? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I smashed it out. I shouldn't have a warrant anymore. I paid the huge fine and all this other stuff. I might be uneducated and not know the court system, and maybe I do still have a warrant out for this. I don't know. Don't come for me. This cannot be used against me in the court of law. Okay, cool. But yeah, I kind of know the court system a little bit. I went to college for criminal justice back in 2019. I did like 2 years, so I'm kind of know it. I went in there not knowing crap. I left being like the average person, knowing the knowledge you should know as an average Joe. So I think it kind of worked out. I was going to go in the police academy. Obviously, I'm not in the police academy. Obviously, I'm not a police officer. I got a warrant out for my arrest. So it's quite the opposite, actually. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. Hopefully it works out. I'm just going to grind it for to the end of the year, and then we'll see where we're at. We'll see where we're at, see how we're doing. I went to like this Citizens Police Academy. I didn't actually go to the police academy. Basically, they just teach you like the ins and out of like the police system. And it's super dope. I learned a lot of stuff. Super informational. I'm just gonna make up words to this podcast. There should be a tier list of all these words I made on the podcast. I stutter a lot, by the way. And then went on a couple of police ride-alongs. Those were crazy. I got a bunch of stories to tell on those. I went with my city one, and then I went on the sheriff one, the county one. This county one was pretty basic. You just kind of rode along and did like traffic stops and all this other stuff. He was like real conservative about me being exposed to the surroundings. He would tell me like, hey, stay in the car until I swoop the area and all this stuff for this traffic stop, and then he'll have me get out and all this good stuff. But the biggest thing that happened on the sheriff county one was it was the first call of the night, because I want to do the night because I thought that'd be more interesting, more fulfilling, because I get more feel of it. And so we live in a big town. Everything's like 500,000 population, and we're driving out of town on the north side into this neighboring city because he wanted to pick up his bag before he started his shift. But his shift has already started, so he's on call or whatever, driving this his car. And then right when we were about to get his house, he gets a call on the north side of that town into a neighboring town. I mean, it's a good 30, 45 minute drive. No, I'd say about 30 minute, not 45. Definitely a 30-minute drive over to the call. The call was domestic violence call, and it mentioned a gun. So he busts a U-turn. He says, "All right, we got to go to this super quick," because his area he was supposed to patrol was over there in that area. When I tell you, he was driving. We got over that area. That's usually a 25, 30-minute drive in less than 5 minutes. I remember we were going on the highway. I looked at how fast he was going. He was over 100 miles an hour driving down the highway, hitting these highway curves. So it was crazy. It was crazy. I think it's the fastest I've ever gone in a car. I think. That's basically the only thing that really happened. We got a couple other calls, and then we got couple traffic stops, and then he didn't have a full shift. He had to go to a hospital and do a shift. But yeah, that was pretty eventful. And then my city's police drive along was pretty crazier, just because I'd say I was more exposed to it. He didn't go out and sweep the area first. He just let me get out and go with him and all that stuff. The most craziest call I had we responded to this call, this kid fighting his mom. Obviously he had prior issues with him before. I have to be careful because I'm not supposed to share any DNA. I'm not supposed to share any details about the case, or I don't know. It wasn't a case. It was just a call, but I'm misinformed. But yeah, we show up. I'm walking with him. I literally walk into the house with him. Before he didn't even know anything about it. I walk in there. I'm standing by the door. I don't move any further in the house besides inside the door. And they're chatting it up. They're trying to de-escalate the situation, trying to figure everything out and all this other good stuff. And another cop shows up. And the guy gets more aggressive. The guy that was yelling at his mom is getting more aggressive, and the officer's like, "All right, we're gonna take you somewhere else. Troubleshoot this and all this other good stuff." He refuses to leave, and then that's when he exits the room, and that's kind of a no-no. And officer life, because if he leaves the room, you don't know what he's grabbing or coming back with, so you got to control him in that environment that's unknown to you. You got to have control. And so they take him, they start tackling him crazy. I'm like, okay, what's going on? A bunch of other officers show up. I'm just sitting there watching them. And then someone says, "Stop moving, you're going to get tased." And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to step out. And I step out, I go to the curb, and I chill. And literally, I think the whole shift shows up. Every officer that was on shift, they show up. The whole street was filled with cops. But, they end up squashing it, getting it all figured out, and all that good stuff. But that's pretty much the most craziest stories I had on ride-alongs. That's basically it. Oh, man, I'm going to have to freaking... this is terrible. I'm going to have to edit. I feel like when I'm not podcasting, I have all these ideas. I just can ramble on forever. But when I am, I'm just drawing blanks here. I might have to edit this together a little bit. Only 25 minutes? Jeez. Golly. Alright, well, man. I gotta make this YouTube channel kind of meaningfully. My plan with this, I want to blow up on social media, kind of get make a living off it. I want to entertain you guys, but so eventually I can quit my job. I work in retail. I'm a retail manager. I work in a retail store. I guess I can tell you, I'm a manager at Aldi's. They have great prices. Not a sponsored. Please sponsor me. Yeah. There's a lot of crazier things at my job I've seen. As a retail manager, you have to deal with a lot of customers. Especially, you have to deal with more customers than you think you would. You think you would have to deal with, because being a manager, you have to deal with your cashier's customer service problems as well. And you get some crazy people in there. So I started off as a regular cashier, and I eventually moved up to being a manager. And I remember my first solo night managing a store. Crazy things happened. I had this chick come in Instacart. She's shopping for somebody and doing all this good stuff, and she got about, I don't know, a full cart of items. I mean, there's freezer, there's produce, there's cooler, all this other crap in our cart. She comes up to me. She said, my phone's about to die. I gotta go charge it. I'll literally be back in about like 5 or so minutes. And I'll say, okay, that's fine. Yeah, just make sure you're back in time, because if not, I'm going to put up this freezer stuff, because I can't keep it for you, because we put the stuff in the cooler to save for you. The freezer stuff are going to melt. We put the stuff in the freezer so the freezer stuff doesn't melt. Everything else is going to get ruined. So there's kind of like, we got to save money here. We got to save our product. I'd say about 45 hours goes by. She doesn't come back. So I'm like, okay, we're going to put the stuff up. I put the freezer stuff up. I put the produce stuff up. I'm starting to put the grocery stuff up. And she comes in. She's like, hey, where's my cart? And she sees me putting it up. Oh, man, she goes off. She flips out. She starts screaming. She's like, oh, my God, why are you doing this? I literally said to be back in a couple minutes. Blah, 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 blah. She's always crying like, oh, no, you got to shop for me. You got to help me shop. I'm like, ma'am, after 45 minutes, I have to put the stuff up or it's going to go bad. I'm sorry. I'll get the stuff that I put up back to you, but that's all I'm going to do, because I have a store to close. So that's it. Oh man, she was yelling out the door. She was not having a bad day. Obviously, not her fault. You know, stuff happens. People just do that. But I remember this other lady that was shopping. She's like, man, she's like, man, you treated that so well. You acted so well on that. I could compose myself like that. But yeah, that was probably on my first solo night that had to happen. I'm also glad it happened, because I was kind of exposed to it right then, so I knew I was kind of getting myself into. Yeah, and then all the other times we have people screaming at us, it's usually at the register. That's if, like, there's a long line, they start screaming and yapping. They're handling our cashiers handling their groceries too rough. They usually start screaming. Going too fast on the register, I've seen that. They start yelling. They yelled at me. I've been yelled at a couple times. And all this other good stuff. Our returns are pretty big, because we got pretty strict on returns. So they start yelling, yapping. And then people just steal. We'll probably have a big theft, probably once a week, and then, mini thefts that go unnoticed and whatnot, probably every day or so. You have those people that come in, grab a loaf of bread, some milk, and some bologna, and they just walk out the door. Not much you can do with that. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, people got to eat. I'm all for it. But if I can stop it, I'll stop it. I'll pay for it too. I'll be like, hey man, just let me pay for it, so we don't have to deal with this. And it happens and all this. And then you get some people that'll get a bag, an Aldi's bag, like a nice big freezer bag, or like a backpack from our Aldi Fine aisle, and then they'll fill it up with a bunch of stuff, pricing over like $100 and stuff. That's the kind of stuff we need to stop. And I had someone do that today. They got me. They did something new. They kind of got them out the door and kind of threw me for a spin. He came through the line. He had a bag full of product and another bag full of his stuff that he brought in with him. And then he put on the register a comforter and like a chalkboard that he was going to ring up. Obviously, he didn't have no money with him, so I had to go up there and suspend it. But my cashier was like, hey, this is kind of sus. I don't think he came in with this bag full of product. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Let me step in the office for a couple seconds, knock it out. Now, coming back outside, I'll just knock it out, just a couple seconds. I'll check the cameras, and then you're good to go. My mistake was not grabbing the bag full of product and taking it in with the office with me. Because right when I went in the office, my cashier goes, "Hey, he's just walking out the store with it. he's out of here." So I go run out the store. I try to stop him. Obviously, we don't get physical. Once they leave the property, we try to avoid confrontation. But I tell him, don't come back, because he was already running off. But I was like, arr, 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 yeah, that happened to me today, actually. So I think I mentioned that. Yep. So it was kind of defeating. I was definitely defeated. And then we get people that try to leave with like $1,000 worth of product. Like they'll have carts full of stuff, and it's super easy to point out. Usually they do it a couple hours before we close. They never do it in the morning usually, and they'll do like case full of stuff. This is what they get. They get basic items, and then they'll get a case full of laundry pods or like laundry soap, and then like shampoo and stuff, like casefuls. And then they'll usually get some like Aldi Fine non-food stuff, and then they get meat. They clear our shelves full of meat. I personally haven't seen our store them be successful in our store, because we're usually pretty good at stopping it. But yeah, it's happened to me a few times. I see it, big red flags. I set up for it so I can deter them off. I like it when they just leave the cart and leave. There's no confrontation. You just put the stuff back up and that's it. But yeah, those are the troublemakers. We gotta watch out for those ones. And then that's basically it. That's pretty much my job. Man, solo podcasting is like the most difficult thing ever, because it's kind of like, because I'm a terrible podcaster, and this is super hard to do without a co-host. So you'll probably see a lot of guests on this podcast, and I don't know. I'll kind of just not trauma dump, just like event dump my life on this podcast for the first couple episodes, because I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I'm curious though. After this recording session, I want to see where I'm at on subscribers. See if I gain any. See how many views I get. That's gonna be crazy. I want to see my click through rate and all this impressions and all that stuff. That'd be interesting, because I'm pretty mediocre making thumbnails and stuff, but I think I could do it. Honestly. So with the Mad Dump podcast, we don't do like our recording sessions are like an hour and 30 minutes long, but we don't post it an hour 30 minutes long on Patreon. We do, but actually we post it in 3 episode segments on YouTube. So it'd be like a recording session stretches 3 episodes, and I'm pretty good so far breaking them up into topics and whatnot. But honestly, I don't know if I want to do it on this one, because the reason I do it on that one is because I have a co-host and our scheduling is way different. So we only get to record like once a week. So it kind of helps us breaking it up. And with this one, I feel like I could just record whenever I need to, like every day or so. So that'd be nice. All right, 35 minutes. That could be 2 episodes. I could break it up. But I don't think I should. What if I record a podcast every night before bed? Every night before I pass out, I just record a podcast. Oh man. Maybe change the name. So the name of the podcast right now is I'm Just a Person podcast. I don't know. I went on the podcast name generator, and that's what came up, and I was like, okay, let's do it. But what if I just do like Pillow Talk, that's definitely a podcast. I bet that's a podcast. But then if I do something sleep related, I should probably be in a bed. It's a fly. But we'll see. I'm not fully sold on the podcast. I might change it. It just depends. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe this one will just be a 30-minute episode. I mean, that should be fine. I mean, it's episode 1. Episode 1 shouldn't be just... This is basically... No. This is episode 0. Episode 0. I'll come back with episode 1 with... I'm way too close. I'll come back with episode 1 with nice topics and all that stuff. I did the same thing with the Mad Dump podcast. We just jumped right into episode 0 because I just want to get something out. So we'll be back. We'll be back with episode 1, fully ready to go. So if you watch this, that's awesome. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe for me. Thank you. Peace.
Hope you got your niggas with you. Hope your goons riding with you. They gon' fucking miss you, nigga. Nigga, what a attitude like Easy Q. When my little brother died, I said, fuck school. I picked the burner up and I grabbed some marijuana. 2 years later, screaming out, Your Honor. Motherfucking nigga, I hang in the bell with them hit squad killers. Flock of flame, boy, the hood ass nigga. Riding real slow, bending corners, my nigga. Waka, 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 flame squad. Yeah. Breeze squad. Yeah. Breeze squad.